Funding for One-on-One with Steve Adubato is provided by the St. Barnabas Healthcare System, New Jersey Natural Gas, proud to support education in our communities, Wachovia, a Wells Fargo company, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, making healthcare work, QualCare Inc., a local managed care company covering 750,000 New Jersey residents, Seton Hall University, a home for the mind, the heart, and the spirit, and the Merck Company Foundation.
This is One-on-One.
That's good acting, man.
I get that a lot. I go to Atlantic City all the time, like, are you the guy? I go, no, I'm not.
This is one you can't afford to miss.
They thought that I wouldn't survive it, but I knew I would.
Welcome to One-on-One. If you ever wanted to really understand immigration policy, immigration laws, the gentleman you're about to see on camera knows it all. He's Michael Wildes, and he is an immigration expert. He's the mayor of Englewood, New Jersey, and he's dealt with this issue on many levels. By the way, Michael, how and why are you into this?
My father, you would say it's in my DNA, represented John Lennon in the 70s and got him a green card in a celebrated case. Started a practice in the 60s, well before my mom and he started me. And we have a practice in New York and New Jersey where we practice exclusively U.S. immigration law. I served as a federal prosecutor at the U.S. Attorney's Office, and the governor placed me as a mayor on a blue ribbon panel on immigration policy. So I had a chance to get rid of the bad guys, help the good guys stay here, and evaluate from the urban, the suburban, and the cities the experience that immigrants take.
Michael, let me ask you, what would you say to a lot of folks? And we're going to talk about some things called stacking, which until I prepped for the show I didn't understand. Muster zones, M-U-S-T-E-R, muster zones and stacking. By the way, what is stacking? Stacking is a phenomenon in the tri-state area where people, because of economic times, are forced to create illegal tenancies, landlords or tenants themselves. And they put not only first responders in harm's way, but their own loved ones. We lost 3 souls in Englewood to the stacking phenomenon. Typically, communities that have stacking issues in housing will have 3, 4 mailboxes or antennas on their roofs, and then they'll have muster zones where day laborers within walking distance, because they don't have driver's licenses, will then be looking for day work, usually within a few miles of one another. And these phenomenons are collateral effects from the deafening silence, Steve, on immigration reform. What do you mean deafening silence? I hear protests all the time. I hear politicians making speeches on the floor of Congress saying we need immigration reform. What do you mean silence? Washington has not changed this broken system because they are incapable of dealing with speaking about anti-terrorism and immigration policy consistently with one another. They have gone radio silent in Washington. Nice speeches, nice talks, no action. They talk, they don't walk. What is the appropriate action that we're talking about? What do you say to those who say again, we could play games with the numbers. Are there 13 million Americans who are here illegally? There are estimates there are 12 to 20 undocumented individuals in America, and my constituents are upset. My constituents are upset. The people of America are upset because with this silence in Washington, the buck goes to the local communities to educate and pay for the education of people that don't have the right to be on U.S. soil, and to fix and mend people who go into hospitals when there's no monies coming from either Trenton, Albany, or Washington. What would you say to those who simply say, all right, look, stop the debate. They're here illegally. They're breaking the law. They're illegal immigrants. Get them out of here. That's it. What's wrong with that? Bottom line, cutting to the chase, we do not have enough handcuffs or enough airplanes to remove these individuals. We do not have the resources to remove them. And frankly speaking, we are thriving despite this economy because of the infusion of monies and the contributions that the immigrant community makes to our economic sectors. There are restaurateurs that we represent, hotel owners that cannot move meals or make beds. All industries, from the shipping industries to just about everything in the music industry, is affected by grips, engineers, by labor that hails from other countries. And with Lady Liberty but a few nautical miles from this studio, we must recognize this international, this national DNA and calling that we had, which is to be a beacon so that the next internet will be developed on your soil. Look at Google, look at Microsoft. These are companies that have hailed the success of their economic prowess to the patents developed by foreigners,
by foreign students. Universities cannot subsidize themselves without the infusions of money from foreign nationals coming to their schools.
Yeah, but time out. You got a couple things going on here. First of all, the traditional argument, the argument you might expect from me, is that my grandparents came from Italy.
And they came legally.
But they went through the process.
Right.
And they passed certain tests, and they did what they were supposed to do, and they abided by the law. Why is it any different for anyone else?
The difference is, and I understand and I respect it, and I testified on Capitol Hill. And I said to members of Congress in 1999, after the first World Trade Center, before the second, that we have students, clerics, and diplomats guising themselves in visa statuses, and we're vulnerable. We have
who
porous
are enemies
borders,
of this country.
And we have porous borders, and we need to create a system that will be one that will protect us from without and make sure that we have a good system of lawful immigration. The problem here is that they didn't do anything to cure it. Every administration has done something. Post 9/11, both the Bush and Obama administration have gone into a stagnation that has consequences. I'll give you a little example. So many people were fixated in the tri-state area about giving aliens that were here undocumented a driver's license.
Hillary Clinton caught hell in the presidential campaign.
So did
about
Spitzer at the time and everybody else. But you know, right now, as we speak, we do not have an effective departure system. We don't know when people came in, when they left. We don't even know who's here or how many.
What does that have to do with giving them a driver's license?
I'll tell you
and why should they get driver's license?
I'll give you a little example. A person takes an expired passport as a foreign national. They can still get on an airplane, the very instrumentality of the World Trade Center, and travel domestically in America. We're so fixated politically on the driver's license experience when, mind you, if you give a driver's license, you'll have insured motorists. You'll have a better sense through census and intelligence as to who's here. But the very instrumentality, again, a foreign national who has an expired passport can get on a plane still post 9/11 and travel domestically in America. What happens here is you have a broken system. If there's a sheriff in a county in this nation that sees that certain delicate materials were stolen, and can then seamlessly take the intelligence that there's a foreign student studying and get that to the FBI and our intelligence services, and we can act and avert attacks. That is the lesson of 9/11. We collected all this intelligence and information, and where are we still, Steve? We don't have a departure stamp. We can find a car stolen through LoJack, but we don't know if a person is being trained still how to fly planes and is actually going to learn to land them. We don't know if they came in New York and left in Florida. We have a broken system.
So understand this, in the couple minutes we have left, the rhetoric around illegal immigration, whether it comes from Sean Hannity on Fox or previously Lou Dobbs when he was with CNN. Now he's softened his position on some of these issues. Hannity says, build a wall, build it now. You say?
Who's going to build it? You're going to have undocumented individuals building it. Our agricultural hub of this country cannot survive without the support of foreign labor.
But they're here illegally, and ultimately, shouldn't there be a balance between getting rid of people who are not going to go through the process, who don't want to become citizens, and everything you're talking about in terms of the economic engine of this country?
You need to have a balance. The unions have recognized that the immigrant community contributes largely to the economic force of this nation. You need to be a nation of laws. We look like the laughingstock of the world. You have a point system in most Western societies. If the person goes to the top 50 universities in the world, they get a greater sense of status. You have right now professionals that can't get visas and people that are here unlawfully because of nuances in the law that can get green cards. Bottom line here is we have a broken system. We need to right this ship because we are now screaming at one another rather than the officials in Washington. When the parents turn around and allow the kids to fight with one another rather than fixing a problem so that Fox News and the xenophobes take the agenda and the rhetoric, then we are in harm's way.
Michael, you've given us an awful lot to think about, talk about, and ultimately deal with. Thank you. Appreciate it. Stay right there. Good work.